everyone, this is Kayla Petrasek, and you have reached the Go-To Aesthetics Coach podcast, where we will be diving deep into medical aesthetic devices, skincare, and business development tactics that are going to take your clinic to the next level. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the very first Go-To Aesthetics Coach podcast episode. I'm so excited. And we have a very, very special guest today because he happens to be with an incredible medical device company called
Aerolase.
And he also happens to be my husband. So I'm really, really excited for today. And I think that you guys are going to get some really valuable information on some groundbreaking technology that has hit Canada and aesthetics. How long ago now?
We've been in Canada for a little over a year now.
Little over a year. And let me tell you, it is booming. You can check it out on Instagram. Nathan has an Instagram handle.
Nathan.aesthetics.
So I'll put that into the notes, but let's get started. So Nathan, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, first off, let me just say it's a great honor to be here. Very special to be the very first host on the podcast. So thank you for having me. Very excited to be here.
Yeah.
So a little bit about myself. My name is Nathan Holz. I was born and raised here in Vancouver. I went to high school out here. I graduated from UBC with a business degree.
And then in what?
In marketing with a minor in economics. I always have to throw that in.
I love that.
And then after university, I went straight to work. I was always working part-time at a restaurant.
Okay.
And as well, I started working for Xerox.
Wait, how long were you working at that restaurant for?
I started working there when I was in grade 10, so about 16 years old. And I worked there for about 11 years straight.
11 years, people. That is a long time.
It was a long time.
Yeah, you get great customer service though, I can imagine.
I've had a lot of sales training. I've worked alongside a lot of people. I've done a lot of different courses and such. But truly, I think the best sales training I've ever had in my life was working front of staff or front of house in a restaurant.
Yeah.
You have to work with so many different shapes and sizes of people. You learn so much about people, how to deal with people. If anyone's ever interested in getting into sales, I say get into a restaurant gig, bartender serving.
Yeah.
It's the best thing you can do at the start.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, so you went from being, 11 years, or was it 11 or
11
6?
years.
11 years in a restaurant, then you moved to Xerox.
Yeah, so I was
Xerox?
still working at the restaurant while working at Xerox.
Mm-hmm.
So Xerox, for those of you who don't know, your parents might know, but they make photocopiers and different capital equipment for offices. So I was selling photocopiers to downtown offices in the start of COVID.
Right.
So that was interesting. It was really hard trying to convince people they needed a $10,000, $20,000 printer when no one was in the office. But you know what? I really enjoyed it. I was lucky to work with a great group of people. I had some great managers there. It was a great experience. So I did that for about just under a year. And then I got...
And I'm going to stop you there because Xerox is interesting. Coming from being in aesthetics myself, Xerox has come up so many times for people in device. So what is the kind of dynamic there? Like, is this a thing? Is this a thing like, go to Xerox and then go into device? Because there's a lot of reps.
Yeah, it's almost a funny coincidence how, I would say majority of male reps that I've come across in this industry have come from photocopier sales. Xerox was known for having a great sales program. And a lot of recruiters look to pluck people from Xerox specifically because of the training they received. So I guess it's a testament to Xerox's training program and what they teach their sales reps, because it's true. Most males in this industry come from photocopiers, so that's their background.
Yeah, for sure. So, given your experience with them and now being in a med device role, would you recommend that to someone out there who wants to get into medical device?
Oh, definitely. And if there's anyone here in BC who's interested in getting into med device and you want to get started with photocopier sales, please reach out to me. Where I worked, I loved the way I worked. It was such a great time. It was a grind, but it was a grind that you enjoyed. So I'm more than happy to put anyone on that right path if you're interested.
Awesome. Okay, so let's move on. So you go now from Xerox and you moved to where, and what motivated you to get into the industry?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I wish I could say that I always knew from a young age I wanted to get into medical aesthetics, or from a young age I wanted to be a doctor. But truth be told, what led me into aesthetics is my wife right here.
I wonder why.
She said she wanted skincare and Botox, and I knew that was expensive, so I had to find a way to get it kind of through work. So it all worked out in the end.
So glad you did it. It's amazing. It's an amazing industry. I would recommend it to anyone who is just a lover of science and technology and aesthetics. So,
yeah. So I got started because of my wife. I won an award with Xerox. It was Rookie of the Year. I had posted that on LinkedIn, and it kind of went semi-viral in a sense. Because of that, I had a plethora of recruiters reaching out to me, and different opportunities present themselves. And one of the opportunities that had presented himself was medical aesthetics, and with a company called BTL. And if you're not familiar with BTL, they are a bit of a household name in aesthetics. They are known for M-Sculpt, M-Sculpt Neo, M-Cella, and now M-Face. Really kind of body contouring and different type of technology than most other devices out there.
For the people out there that may not know what BTL is or M-Sculpt is, what would you say is like the one thing that kind of signifies what M-Sculpt is? I feel like out there in the media, it's kind of like, if you've seen that device, it's all about giving you
a nice toned glutes and nice six pack.
Yeah.
So that's really the marketing that came with the device.
Yeah. So that was an incredible company too. So, okay, so you're with BTL, and how did you find that experience? How long were you with them for?
So I was with BTL for about 18 months total, so a year and a half. I'm really grateful for the time I had with BTL. The company itself is great. They have great technology, and it was really my intro into aesthetics. I was really lucky and really blessed to be able to learn a lot. And all those lessons that I learned in that job have I've actually allowed to apply them in this job and be successful. So I thought it was a great time. I really enjoyed it.
Good, amazing. And then where did you go from there?
From there, I went to where I am now, and that's with a company called Aerolase.
Ooh, yes. I love Aerolase. It's an incredible company, and it's so exciting because it is newer to Canada, and there's, it's getting out there for sure. It's definitely booming on media platforms, and it's getting into a lot of big clinics. But I am so excited for you to share a little bit more about the company, about their vision, about what makes them stand out, and then we'll dive deeper into some more after that. So
okay.
Start with that.
Where do you want me to start?
Let's start with like Aerolase. What's like the one thing Aerolase represents?
Great question. So Aerolase, we are an American company. We're located in New York. We've been there for about 10 plus years, but only new now here to Canada for about over a year, and I'm located here in Western Canada. So what Aerolase represents is the next great leap forward in medical grade technology. The lasers that we know and the lasers that come to mind when we think of lasers, these big, bulky, 200-300 pound machines, think of those big brick cell phones of the 90s. Now remember those ones with the antennas? Same idea. Now, if we look at what we have today in the palm of our hands, we have these small supercomputers. And that's what really Aerolase has done. We've reinvented the medical grade laser, and we've redefined what medical aesthetics are, because we're tired of hearing people say that you're too dark, or you're too tan for a treatment, or because you're a single mom that can't afford a $4,000 treatment, your son doesn't get acne relief. That's not very inclusive. So what Aerolase strives to be is the most inclusive medical grade technology that's ever existed.
Okay, wow. Okay, so what I'm hearing is that Aerolase really stands out because it's inclusive, of all skin types and tones, and it's inclusive in terms of a budgeting standpoint, in terms of who can afford the treatments.
Yeah.
So they're affordable is what you're saying.
Yes, let's take a step back. Yeah. So let's start with what is a laser? So lasers are great, and we love lasers. And what is a laser? Well, a laser is an energy source that we use to correct and tackle a wide range of different skin concerns. So there's lasers that work specifically for, say, pigment, sun damage, melasma. There's other lasers that are great for vascular concerns like redness, rosacea, spider veins. Then we typically have laser hair removal devices that are great for hair removal.
Yeah.
And then we have our other section of devices for, say, skin tightening, lifting, plumping. And then apart from that, we have different, dermatological devices for like acne, psoriasis, and such. Now, well, all those, and there's tons of great technology out there, all those lasers are really designed the same way. Lasers were designed 20, 30 years ago in aircraft hangars where space wasn't an issue. And if we dissect the laser that came out 15 years ago today, technologically, there hasn't really been any advancements in the technological aspect of lasers. Okay. Because of that, and because majority of lasers are built and designed the same way, they tend to share the same limitations. Now, those limitations include that A, they can be really painful. So in some cases, you may have to use topical numbing or anesthetic, which adds another 45 minutes to your treatment time. They're not in your waiting room, they're taking up a patient room, and then you're doing your treatment. Additionally, they're not safe and effective for darker skin tones. There are lasers that can be safe for darker skin tones, but in order for these long pulse lasers to be safe for darker skin tones, we have to turn down the power so significantly that we're really just doing a light superficial treatment. Okay. Additionally, the term laser season exists because old, outdated lasers lack the capabilities to treat year round.
Okay. So
what Aerolase has done is got rid of all those things we don't like about lasers, and we've redesigned it. So our laser is air-cooled rather than water-cooled, completely solid state, no moving parts. Okay. There's no consumables, there's no operating costs. But what we love is the fact that we can safely and effectively treat every Fitzpatrick skin type, 1 through 6, including tan skin. So what that means, and again, pain-free.
Yeah.
So what that means is that we give you as a clinic owner, as a practitioner, the ability to never have to turn a client away. Not because they're too dark, not because they're too tan, or not because of any socioeconomic factors. The no operating costs, the no gels, the quick 15-20 minute treatments allow everyone and anyone who want treatments to be able to get life-changing treatments. And that's what we love about Aerolase.
Okay. I love that. That is amazing. And speaking from someone like myself who has had the opportunity to try it myself, it really is amazing. And there was even, a time where I was going to buy a device. I was thinking of doing that and researching all the different technology out there. And one thing that really stood out and that I love about the Aerolase Elite and the Aerolase Neo device is that it's not labor intensive. There's so many devices out there where you're moving around for a long time, sometimes over half an hour, and it can get tiring. You're doing that even more than 8 hours a day sometimes. So I really, really like that about it. And the other thing, 36 different indications, like all in one, incredible. And he's not joking when he's saying that this device is not clunky. This device is like a sexy,
size of a briefcase, 27 pounds.
Yeah, it looks like a James Bond.
So I think I have the
suitcase.
luckiest job in aesthetics. I get to take it in my car. I'll demo anyone, any place, anytime. And there isn't another rep in aesthetics that has that ability.
Yeah.
I take it on an airplane with me as my carry-on. I bring it home with me. I plug it into my washing to line my beard up. We treat anywhere, anytime, and that's what we love about it.
Yeah, it is really amazing and unique in that sense. So especially I think for clinics who are going who have a big clinic going room from room, or even just someone who's doing a one-man show, it's easy to move around and to do what you need to do with it. And it also looks really cool.
Yeah, so on the note, we are approved FDA and Health Canada to treat 36 different approved indications with one single handpiece. And unlike most other technologies, our handpiece does not have a pulse counter. So it does not have to be changed or replaced after 5,000 pulses 1 million pulses. We're tired of having these big aesthetic companies take all your money through outrageous consumables, disposables, cycles. When you're having to pay 33% of your profit back to the company just to operate the machine, it takes a toll over time. And as a new practitioner, someone starting up a new business, you have to think of all these factors.
Yeah, definitely. Lots to consider. So this is all very exciting.
Yeah.
But you know what? Let's go a little bit into like you've done a nice summary of the device and what stands out about it. But for those kind of science geeks out there who like to get a little more into the science, what does you're referring to the Aerolase Neo Elite device? What kind of?
That's a good point. We do have two devices. We have the Neo Elite, which is a non-ablative, and then we have our Era Elite, which is a 2940 erbium YAG, and we're doing full field ablation. So not fractional, we're not doing semi-destruction of the epidermis, we're completely shaving off the epidermis like a CO2, but we can do it without any numbing, which is incredible.
It honestly doesn't hurt at all. Like, it's crazy. Like, I've done it myself, and I'm a baby, I was scared. Literally, you hardly even feel anything. We've done it with numerous people in the industry, and they're literally like, I feel nothing. Like, it's so funny. And I think it is like the only ablative device out there that is literally pain-free.
I wouldn't say pain-free. Some people are a little more sensitive than others. Pain can be subjective, but you definitely do not need numbing. So the ability, especially as a busy clinic, to do a full ablation in 20, maybe 25 minutes start to finish. Yeah. If you're a busy clinic and your ablative treatments only take, let's say, 30 minutes, how many people could you see in 8 hours? How many people could you see in a week? Yeah, that's true. And that's another good point, because even with the Neo Elite that we were just talking about, they can be done in what? Like I can do a full face in 15 minutes, like, but I've been doing a few of them. So when you're just getting out, I would say safely 20 minutes. Let's say 25 minutes to allocate some time for some chit chat. Yeah. But you can truly see someone every 30 minutes, all day, every day, for the rest of your life. That's incredible. And it's like just a no-brainer. So when you're thinking about, other devices out there, which you have to do 45 minutes prior for numbing, and then you have to do a 45-minute treatment, and there might be even more to that because of the pain scale of, like, the patient is anxious and nervous, you have to stop for a minute, slow down, when you can have just as effective, or not more of a treatment, more effective in 15 minutes, in and out, no consumables, no pain, practically pain-free. It really is a mic drop. Yeah. Amazing. Okay, so do you want to explain a little bit more about the ablative device? Yeah, sure. Just kind of how that works, because I think there's different degrees of ablative. Like, you see some scary before after photos sometimes, and I think, just from my personal experience, like, I feel like the Aerolase device is a little different in terms of that it's not as invasive as some ablative, but like the results are incredible. So maybe just expand on that a little bit, just so people know. Yeah, so our Era Elite, like I mentioned, is a 2940 erbium YAG, and what we're doing is we're doing complete destruction of the epidermis. So what that means is that we are completely shaving off different microns, different amounts of the epidermis. We can do multiple passes over certain areas. We can do partial faces. And typically when it comes to, say, ablation, when we're taking trauma to the skin, when we're doing destruction on the skin, things that come to mind are, say, microneedling, RF microneedling, or fractional resurfacing. And then we have a CO2, which will kind of always be the gold standard. But the downside of the CO2 is the oozing blood and the 30 to 60 day downtime, which no one really likes. Now, we say RF microneedling and fractional resurfacing. If we get a piece of skin, we're only typically doing, say, 50% destruction. So we see great results with some of these fractional resurfacing devices and RF microneedling. And again, that's only doing partial destruction of the epidermis, and you still need numbing. You could not pay me enough money to try to do RF microneedling without any anesthetic. So how we're different is we're able to completely shave off the epidermis, completely take off 100% destruction, again, without any numbing. And how we're able to do that is we have a pulse duration that's so quick, 300 microseconds, that it doesn't give the epidermal melanocytes time to react to the heat. And that's why we can do it without any numbing. And let me add one more thing. It's also the only fully ablative device in the world that can do full ablation on Fitzpatrick's 5 and 6.
Wow. Okay. Amazing.
So when I say we treat everyone, I truly mean we treat everyone.
Okay. So when we're thinking about the two devices that Aerolase has that you just kind of went through, if you had to summarize and recap one or two things that really stand out to those future practitioners or clinic owners that are looking for a new device, what makes Aerolase stand out? What makes these devices stand out in the competitive market? One or two things.
Great question. Like I said, lasers are great, but typically lasers are niche. You buy a laser because it can solve 1, 2, maybe 3 specific concerns. So if you have a clinic, you're gonna have to buy something for your reds, for your darks, then for your hair. But then you're still left with the inability to treat darker skin and tan skin. When has it ever been a good business decision to buy expensive medical grade technology that can only treat half the population half the time of the year? What Aerolase is an all-in-one device. The Neo Elite is an all-in-one device that treats everyone and anyone for 36 plus different treatments with a single handpiece without any operating costs. Now, another thing that we love about it is that the Neo can be combined same day with any other aesthetic service. So we could do chemical peels, microneedling, facials. When you buy a technology, typically it's going to cannibalize the clinic. All the attention goes to that. Not with us. It allows you to incorporate all of your existing services, all of your future services, to allow you to create customized, tailored protocols to fit an individual's needs, because that's really where aesthetics is heading.
I love that.
Multiple disciplinary approaches, customized, tailored therapies.
Yeah.
No two people look the same. No two people respond the same. We combine things to enhance results and get there quicker.
Exactly, and that's a very good point. I feel like this is very true. Like aesthetics is going more to having comprehensive, customized package. So it's not always just this device and that's, come in for a session, hopefully you're selling a package of sessions, but it's more so looking at the patient and all of the, like at a 360 view, because there's never really one thing. There's usually multiple things going on to really tackle everything to get the results that we want. So when you can combine a device easily and implement it into your practice easily to incorporate the other things like microneedling and all of that, sell packages that are more comprehensive, you're going to make a lot more money in your clinic and patients are going to get way better results.
Yeah. Results are everything.
So, yeah, I think that's awesome.
End of the day, results are everything.
Yeah.
And we got to use all the tools available to us to get the best results.
Yes.
And that's what we should do.
Exactly. I love it. Okay. Let's move into, again, Aerolase as a company and your experience. Is there one thing that kind of stands out as a rewarding experience for working for this company?
Yes, that's a great question. So I've been blessed with the opportunity to introduce Aerolase here into Western Canada. And when you're introducing new technology that no one has, technology that looks different, technology that does things that we've been taught, when our technology can do things that we've been taught in regards to lasers that is impossible, tan skin, darker skin tones, you're going to have a lot of skepticism, right? Yeah. So truly, probably the most rewarding part so far has been people adopting the technology, trusting me, and then hearing their 1 month, 2 month, 3, 6, 1 year feedback saying that it's been the most profitable device they have ever owned and they're eternally grateful for taking the chance. Hearing things like that, being able to be a small factor into these people's successes, it's what I love. It's one of the reasons why I love what I do.
Aww. So cute. Okay, amazing. I love that. And there's one thing, as you were mentioning this, there's one thing I thought of that I wanted to touch on because I feel like it's important. So in terms of age with both the devices, is there an age limit? For example, and I want to share this because, I think it's relevant. So when I was working in a clinic once, I was getting multiple phone calls from either young teenage patients or their parents saying, my daughter or my son is so embarrassed of their acne that they are not attending school. They're coming home crying. They're hiding their face with their hair. It's sad. It's that's sad. So I am so hopeful that there's a solution like this, because I know the Aerolase targets acneic patients really, really well. And I think it's important to touch on the age. Can your devices treat teenagers, kids?
So when I say we treat everyone, I mean we treat everyone. We can treat all ages. And I have before and afters on my Instagram of us treating infants for different... Infants. Like hemangio, birthmarks, vascular malformities. And we can treat infants in any age because of how comfortable we truly are. And I'm glad you brought up acne.
Yeah.
Now, I never in a million years thought that I would be passionate about acne. And since working for Aerolase, I've developed a bit of a bad habit when I see someone, with some acne, some bad acne on the street. I just start looking at them and I start thinking of the protocol that I would use to correct their acne. Now, one thing about acne before I start is, let me just say this, because some other reps, some other companies may say there's a cure to acne. There is no cure to acne, unfortunately. Acne is hormonal. And unfortunately, there is no energy source that can regulate hormonal activities, regardless of what anyone out there tells you. Yeah. So always trust your doctor and not a rep.
Touching back on those comprehensive packages, right?
Correct.
Because it's never one thing.
Correct. So acne, with it being hormonal, is also caused by a wide range of factors. Typically, we have a buildup of the bacteria, which is called the P. acnes bacteria.
Right.
We have sebaceous glands, which are what produce oil in your skin, and what they're doing is they're producing too much oil. We also have a redness, a vascular component with acne, and then we also have hair follicles that get clogged. Mm-hmm. We have skin cells that don't shed fast enough, pores. All these factors contribute to acne. And apart from just having active acne, typically people have acne pigment and scarring as well. So the other acne solutions out there, they may target one aspect of acne, say the sebaceous glands.
Yeah. Or
they may just target pigment. Now, how we're different is with our device, with the Neo Elite. We're going to tackle acne by down-regulating sebaceous glands. Mm-hmm. We don't want to destroy them. They have a purpose. They're important. Yeah. We want to destroy the P. acnes bacteria. We want to get deep and address the vascular component of acne. But we're also able to unclog pores, do hair removal. But apart from just tackling active acne in the same setting, the same protocol, we're addressing acne pigment and scarring and doing deep dermal level collagen remodeling. So what we want to do is what a goal to do is take the most aggressive canvases and turn it to a practically clear canvas. Now, there will always be maintenance, and maintenance can depend on hormonal factors, stress, dietary concerns. Mm-hmm. But what I love about this is that there's no adverse side effects. We treat anyone and everyone 1 to 2 weeks apart, and we combine it with medical grade skincare, and you can truly change people's lives in 10 to 12 weeks. And if you go through my Instagram, you will see a ton of local before and afters of some truly jaw-dropping before and afters for acne.
Okay. So I want to recap this and make sure I'm hearing this right, because this sounds really incredible. So you're saying that with the one device, so let's say the Neo Elite, the non-ablative device, when you're treating a patient, you're not only targeting active acne, you're targeting acne scars, you're targeting melasma, vascularity problems, you're doing collagen remodel all in one. Or is it different protocols, different treatments?
We can treat over 36 different treatments in a single visit.
Wow. Okay. And then Okay, so, and then in terms of downtime, so there's no downtime. Patient leaves.
No downtime whatsoever. Or everyone's favorite secret, you come in during your lunch break, you may experience a bit of mild redness, mild erythema, but by the time you're back to work, no one can tell you had anything done and you're glowing.
Love it, love it, love it. Okay, and then what is the typical recommended amount of sessions? Is it 1? Is it 3? Is it 6?
Yeah, so
I guess it depends. Maybe.
It depends on what we're treating. Typically with acne, it's going to be a series of 4, maybe 6 treatments reserved for those almost tough to look at acne patients. Typically, it's going to be a range of 4 to 6 treatments, but with concerns such as angiomas, spider veins, skin tags, nail fungus, it's more of that 1, 2, maybe 3 treatment protocol timeline.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that I get to utilize it. Okay, so let's talk about the future of aesthetics. And where do you see the future of aesthetics going in the next few years? And how is Aerolase kind of keeping up with what's going on in the future? Do they have future plans? I don't know if you can talk about that. But are there things in the pipeline, or is there some exciting news? Are things moving? Are there goals?
Yeah. So let's start with the future of aesthetics. So I think a very important trend that we see quite frequently now is that patients and clients are becoming more and more educated. Yeah. They're becoming more and more aware. Yeah. They're doing more and more homework outside of the clinic to do the research into what's out there and what might be best suited for them. Now, for far too long, we've told people that, hey, you have one option, or let's take a step back.
Okay.
Sorry, I got a little sidetracked there. Hold on.
He's got so much to say.
Yeah, the brain goes too fast sometimes. So, where were we?
Okay, so basically I was just asking, let's just start
future of aesthetics.
Where's the future of aesthetics going, in your opinion?
Yeah, so I would say, it's multimodality approaches, patients being more aware and more educated on what's out there.
Definitely.
And because of that, because of new technology that's always coming out and more competition everywhere, more clinics coming up, you have apartment clinics opening up left, right, and center. As a clinic owner, as a practitioner, you're really going to have to step up your game to stand out more and more.
Yeah.
That includes technology, that includes, results, that includes spreading out there with marketing.
Yeah.
Everything's turned towards social media.
Yes.
If you're not active multiple times a day on social media, you're not using the most important marketing resource. And I think where we're heading is really just an era where anyone who wants aesthetic treatments can get aesthetic treatments. It's really been, maybe not so much today, but in the past, it's really been more of a country club for certain people. If you're not wealthy, if you don't look a certain type, you might not be able to get medical aesthetic treatments.
Yeah, less accessible in a way, really.
Right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that want to look good, that want to feel good, that want to take care of themselves.
We all do.
And it's been out of reach for a lot of people for far too long, whether it's because you can't afford it or because you look a certain type of way. But what Aerolase is at the forefront of is giving everyone an opportunity to look good and feel good. And I think that's where we should be heading.
Yes, I agree. And then if you are allowed to say anything, or you can just, but is Aerolase doing things to keep up with the future of aesthetics? Do they have things in the works?
Yeah, so we are one of the, if not the fastest growing company in aesthetics, and to grow at the rate we are, you always have to be a couple steps ahead. Now, we don't want to just get to the top, we want to stay at the top, and to stay at the top, you always have to be, again, a few steps ahead. So there's not too much I can say, but Aerolase being a technology company first, we're not a design company. Truth be told, one of the biggest clapbacks I hear is that we don't have a sexy, sleek design. And I understand that.
You don't? I think it is.
I appreciate that. Well, you're my wife too,
okay.
so.
Yeah, true. It is a cool, like, it looks like a sleek, sexy suitcase. But when you open up, yeah, it kind of looks like a science, like, project or something.
But, you know, typically, if you've been in aesthetics,
works.
you know with devices, you know, you have sexy-looking devices and you have efficient-looking devices.
Yeah.
There's always a trade-off. And we are a technology company. We're not a marketing company. So with us being technology first, you know, we're always invested into the future and staying ahead of the game.
Okay, that's exciting. I look forward to hear what's to come then. So, okay, we've gone over a lot. I think let's leave the listeners with one thing. So, if they were to consider a device with Aerolase as their go-to option, why would they do that? What's the one thing? I know we went over a lot about why, but if it's one thing that sticks out, they need to buy a device. They're thinking about buying a device in the next 6 months. Mm-hmm. Why Aerolase? What's the one thing that you think stands? I mean, from me listening to you...
What would you say? This is a good question.
No, you can
hear me
throw
talk
it back
all day, every day about it. So I'd love to hear, what would you say so unique about Aerolase?
I mean, from hearing everything that you just said, and from having a lot of experience through you, and hearing with different clinics, I work with clinics as well. I think it's what I touched on before. It's there's two things. Number one, all skin types, all skin tones. It's so inclusive. If I owned a clinic, I want to be able to treat everyone that walks through my door at any time of the year, and you can with yours. That's not the case with every device out there. So to me, that's like the most bang for my buck. And on top of that, you have all the science and the studies and the results to back up the device. So it's not just about making money, but it's about providing results, because you want to help people. You want to make a difference. So, I mean, it really sounds like it's the whole package. You're going to make the best ROI. You're going to have the best results and change people's lives. And with all that, I think it is the easiest device. Like, as I said, it's literally so easy. You're not going to be exhausted. You can fit a lot of patients in a day and get great results. So it's just like a no-brainer, honestly. And I'm biased, I know, but I honestly, if I were to buy a device, this would be my first one. It would be the Neo Elite to start, because it has those 36 indications. Yeah. And I think it's a great starting point, and I would probably have like microneedling or chemical peels on top of that to have something to start. But I just think there's just so many great things to say. So
I think if you're a new clinic owner and you're deciding what device to get, there's a lot of great toys out there. But when you're bringing on your first device, when you're making that first investment, you want to bring something on that's versatile. Something that's not specific or niche, something that can treat a wide range of indications. Yeah. Something that can treat, or ideally target all your clients. Something that works, and something that's going to be profitable.
Exactly.
Now, there's no other device that can do the amount of treatments that we can treat. There's no other medical grade laser that can safely and effectively treat all Fitzpatrick skin types and tan skin. There's no other medical grade laser that does not have an operating cost like ours. Yeah. And on top of that, there's no other laser that has a safety profile that our laser does. So it's safety, versatility, profitability. It's the holy grail of what you're looking for in a laser.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay, if we have, some listeners that are interested in learning more about Aerolase, about you, about the devices, are you able to provide studies, science, feedback from clinics, all the things that they would need to feel really supported and make like a thorough decision on purchasing a device, because it is a big decision?
Yes, definitely. So we have tons and tons and tons of clinical resources. The first generation of the Neo Elite was an 8-year progress, and we've been 10 years since then. So in 18 years, you can imagine the amount of clinical data that we have on the technology. And I think, for anyone that's looking at technology, that may be looking down the road at technology, I think a very important step in your research process is to not just talk to a rep, but I would highly suggest to anyone out there, when you're looking at technology, open up Google and find some local clinics that have experience working with the technology and working with the rep. I'll be the first one to tell you, there's a ton of great technology out there. But if you've been in this industry for any amount of time, you can back up what I'm about to say and say that most reps are some of the worst human beings that you will come across. And the experience working with some people will ruin any great technology. So before you commit to a device, before you make that long-term commitment, make sure you enjoy who you're getting committed with. Make sure that person, your sales rep, is going to be there for you when something happens. And the best way to verify that is to speak to people who have worked with them. We're reps. Everything we say, take with a grain of salt. But people who have had the technology for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, they're not going to lie to you.
Yeah. No, that's a very good point. I'm glad that you brought that up. And honestly, something that I'm going to add in there. And again, I know I'm biased. I am his wife. But I can wholeheartedly, honestly say, he is one of the hardest workers I have ever met. Like, above and beyond. He is truly, if you work with him as a rep, like, he has your back, and he will work overtime. He will work, evenings, weekends, like to the extreme. Like,
we even do birthday parties.
Birthday parties. No, actually, I swear to God, he would. So, like, I truly say that from the heart. He is someone that really actually goes above and beyond. And, like, there's a funny saying out there, like, there's a funny saying out there I've heard, like, if you want to get rid of a laser device rep, you buy a device and, they're gone. You never see them again. But that is not the case when you're working with the right business partner. And Nathan is someone who will be there for you and have your back. Like, it's truly a partnership. Mm-hmm. It's not a sale. So I think that's really important and really, really, nice that you have those qualities for someone to work with.
No, I appreciate you saying that. And, that's sweet to hear. And, I think, especially when it comes to new technology, creating those right relationships is the most important thing. Yeah. And if you create bad relationships, you create bad experiences, it's a big industry, but it's really not. And word spreads quickly.
That's very true.
So our reputation, our integrity is everything. And it can take a lifetime to build a reputation, but you can lose it in a snap of your fingers.
Yeah.
So
be a good person.
Be a good person. As a medical device rep, we have it's a privilege to do what we do. Yeah. It's a very privileged job. I get to work with great people doing great things, and I love what I do, and that comes with great responsibility. So I don't take that lightly. And I truly feel like anyone that's ever worked with me in aesthetics will vouch that. Yeah. I'm a rep that will be there for more than any other rep has ever been there for.
Yeah, I think that's really true. If you were to talk to any clinic in BC that has his devices, they will have wonderful things to say. So, yeah. Okay, Nathan, we're going to wrap this up. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for being
thank you for
my
having me.
very first contestant on my podcast.
I was a little nervous. I won't lie. It's my podcast debut. But,
he was so nervous.
You made this very comfortable, very easy. So and I feel very privileged to be your first guest. And
thank you.
I'm sure you're going to have hundreds more on here. And I wish you long-lasting success with your podcast.
Thank you. I'm very excited. So let's just leave the listeners then with how they can contact you. I'm going to put it in the notes, so you'll see it there. But what's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, so Instagram, nathan.aesthetics. That's nathan.aesthetics. Mm-hmm. You can email me at nholz@aerolase.com. That's nholz@aerolase.com. If you're a clinic owner, you work at a clinic, you're a doctor, you're a practitioner, you're a plastic surgeon, you're a derm, you're interested in a device, you want to learn more, you want to see a demo, slide into my DMs. I will demo you anytime, any place, anywhere, because that's how confident I am in our technology. Bring me your most severe acne patient. Bring me your worst melasma, your FITS 5 melasma with tan skin. Bring me your psoriasis. Bring me your rosacea. Bring me the worst nail fungus you have. Give me one opportunity to show you what we can do, and that's truly all I need.
There we go. All right. And if there is someone who is outside of BC, somewhere in Canada or even in the States, you can connect.
Slide into my DMs and I'll direct you to the right person.
Perfect. Okay. Well, thank you so much for listening and have a good day.
Thank you so much. Take care.